The entire pharma industry is under fire, and some companies are feeling a level of heat that may not be justified, but it's killing the stocks. One such company is Horizon Pharma, HZNP, a company that's been acquisitive and has raised some prices of drugs, but it's also been innovating, particularly with its proprietary orphan drug business that's growing very fast. The stock has gotten so cheap that some analysts are speculating it's a breakup candidate. All I can tell you is the market's being very unkind to the more novel drug companies like Horizon, and that's why its stock was traded as high as $39 in July of last year, is now mired at 18 and change. Got hit for a 4.74% loss in today's trading. Even as it has well above average growth for a drug company and now sells for just 8 times earnings. So let's check in with Tim Walbert, the chairman and CEO of Horizon Pharmaceuticals, who's coming to us from the J.P. Morgan Healthcare Conference, find out more about where his company is headed. Mr. Walbert, welcome back to Mad Money.
Hi, Jim. Thanks for having me on again. Really appreciate it.
All right, Tim, I got to go there because the Journal started again with the price increases. Could you please explain to our viewers why specialty pharmas are not something that you should be afraid of and not something that's driving the cost of healthcare up?
Well, the first thing is when you look at the average price that was discussed in much of the media, you have to factor in what the net price is to patients. So in our case, across many of our medicines, we use a lot of that money that is charged from the list price. It's discounted. We use that money to create access. And our programs are purely designed to ensure that the patient gets the medicine their physician prescribed. And over 95% of our patients are paying less than $10 for their medicines, Jim. And we're trying to do the right thing to create that access.
Now, I think that McKesson reported today, they pre-announced that they're a middleman, and it looks like that their middlemen being hurt a little bit. Is that because the pharmaceutical companies like Horizon are getting in touch directly with the customer and don't need to be involved with a middleman, or actually with a healthcare maintenance organization that might not allow a drug to be given to the patient?
Well, there have been some recently announced transactions like Valiant and Walgreens, but for the most part, we distribute our medicines through the large wholesalers. If there is any change in their business, it may be through some of their ancillary operations, but no change that we've seen in how most manufacturers work with the wholesalers. They're the primary wholesalers that help us to distribute the medicines. When you talk about our rare disease medicines like Actimmune and Ravicti, we work through specialty pharmacies that help distribute the product, but also importantly help patients gain reimbursement.
All right, Tim, let's talk about Horizon now. It looks like the company is rapidly transforming over this period into more of an orphan drug company.
Yes.
Now, I have to tell you, I know that that's good, but I actually like the old company because it's consistent and makes a lot of money. Why do we want a Horizon that's going more toward orphan when you offer a lot of very important drugs for individuals about inflammation that are terrific?
Well, Jim, both are important. If you look at 2015, based on our guidance of 750 million to 760 million in revenue and 350 to 360 million adjusted EBITDA, that has been fueled about 150% year-over-year increase in sales, 300% increase in EBITDA, and our primary care business, as you referenced, is generating strong cash flow that is going to fuel our continued entrance into the orphan space, which you saw with our acquisition of Pharmaceutical on December 11th, which gives us the orphan medicine Krystexxa, which we believe we can rapidly bring into the organization. It strategically fits with our rheumatology business unit, and we believe we can drive volume and benefit more patients. So as we look at it, the orphan medicine is a great growth driver. We can invest in products like Actimmune, where we have a phase 3 program in Friedreich's ataxia that will read out in December of this year, and that indication alone is a $500 million to $1 billion a year potential opportunity for us, which will give you a lot of that sales and EBITDA you're looking for.
All right, talk to me about the Fox Chase studies, because this is on cancer, because you're talking about some cancers that the medicines had very little luck with. I know it's very, very early, but you give me a sense about why they want to pursue it at Fox Chase and why they think it's actually something that could be within a couple of years fruition.
Right. Fox Chase Cancer Center had been in the forefront of developing agents called PD-1 or PD-L1 checkpoint inhibitors for certain cancers like bladder cancer, melanoma, and others. And some of that preclinical data that was shown from them and others gave an indication that interferon gamma 1b, or Actimmune, our rare disease in our orphan business unit, had shown to actually improve the response when pre-treating with Actimmune. So what we did is work with them to design a phase 1 trial to prove out that efficacy. We announced that we have gained IRB approval, meaning we're going to start enrolling patients shortly. And in those indications alone, looking at bladder cancer, melanoma, and others, we think by 2020 it could be a $300 to $500 million a year opportunity for us at Horizon. We've guided out to 2020 in our long-range plan to be almost $2 billion in revenues, and 60% of that in our rare diseases such as Actimmune and cancer.
All right, Tim. Do you need 2 or 3 more Crialtas to make the 2020 number, or you need one company like a Depomed that did not want to do it in order to get to that number?
Well, importantly, we don't need any new companies or medicines to achieve our objectives. With our Actimmune and Friedreich's ataxia, along with about $265 million run rate in our existing orphan business and over a $500 million run rate in our primary care business, those businesses alone will help us achieve those 2020 objectives. The Crialta acquisitions and any other incremental acquisitions we do are all upside to those numbers that we've reported previously.
All right, that's terrific. Tim Walbert, Chairman, President, CEO of Horizon Pharma. Good to see you, sir.
All right, thanks so much, Jim. Great to be on.
This group is under fire. I think that these stocks are beaten up enough that they seem pretty interesting to me. Tim Walbert, Chairman and President, CEO of Horizon. That's HZNP. Stick with Cramer. Booyah! Jim Cramer here from Mad Money. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube. Click here to subscribe and get the jump on my exclusives with CEOs, plus market news, investing advice, and a whole lot more.